All right, well, one of the agreements made during last week's Republican negotiations for speakers was to cap the 2024 discretionary spending at fiscal year 2022 levels. That deal could result in a potential $75 billion drop in defense spending. It's a figure that's sure to raise concern among defense hawks in Congress. Joining us now is one of the 20 holdouts from that speaker's vote, freshman Congresswoman and Florida Air Force veteran Paulina Luna. And good to see you. Congratulations on that pin. That's quite an accomplishment. Finally getting sworn in after those 15 votes. I don't know how hard you worked over 2 cycles to earn that.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but the one thing, and I will say, when I was up there and we were going through some of those negotiations, I just kept thinking about the thousands of conversations I had on the campaign trail. And Sean, we knocked over 50,000 doors and made 90,000 phone calls in the duration of my campaign. So a lot of people told me, they go, Anna, when you get there, we're going to vote for you, but we've lost face. Just please help bring change. And as you saw, we did bring change, and not just for ourselves, but I think for the entire country. So we're very happy about that and look forward to working together.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. You guys got holding out. You got some great things. 72 hours to read bills. Oh my goodness. Maybe they'll start to go through one issue at a time. All things that are good for transparency. They're good for the American taxpayer and the American citizen. But one of the provisions that caught people's eyes was this potential defense cut by capping spending at 2022 levels. The Wall Street Journal published an op-ed, and this is what they said. The reality is that if defense is cut, what we will go through is spending for operations and maintenance to sustain military readiness, as well as money for the weapons to deter China. If the GOP rebels honor their demand for regular order, defense hawks may have more votes. But it's worrisome that some Republicans are joining the progressive calls to shrink the military when the world grows more dangerous. All right, you're a veteran. What do you think about this one specific provision?
Well, I would love to interject in that entire story and conversation. So I was actually in the room when some of these negotiations were taking place. And so I want to clear up something just immediately. There was never talk of, when we discussed streamlining the budget, of even touching defense. It's more or less the crazy programs that the progressive left has been using taxpayer dollars to fund. And I think the numbers will actually be around $132 billion that is being streamlined. So, I mean, me being first and foremost, obviously a military service member, we don't want to impact our service members in any negative way. But really, with the Biden administration and what they've been trying to do is, they use the military, they try to push these woke programs. And so appropriations and some of the more conservative members who have been now put onto the appropriations committee will ensure that not only are we, one, in the best defense position in regards to fighting China, but also to that the money that we do spend and those tax dollars that so many Americans, to include myself, pay into, that's not just being wasted in the name of social justice.
So, I mean, I just want to be clear that in your point is, hey, there's a pot of money. We're going to reduce that pot, but we can find a lot of programs to get rid of all of these lefty progressive things. And that doesn't mean we have to touch defense, right?
Exactly. And then I also want to clear up something a little bit further. A lot of people, especially on the topic of Ukraine, we have gone above and beyond even other NATO countries in defense. And I think that there needs to be a serious questioning. And look, the United States has done a lot for Ukraine, but where is this money going to? Especially when people are talking about sending more money to Ukraine. Right now, I'm sure and anyone watching this program, if you go to Publix or if you go to Walmart, you can look at the price of eggs. It's close to $9 right now. And to think about sending more money overseas right now is something that we just can't afford to do. And so it is going to take an uncomfortable conversation. And I think discussions among some of my colleagues to say, hey, look, we really have to stop spending money like it's just completely infinite. And we have to understand that if you wouldn't spend your own money like this, why are we spending, taxpayer dollars like this? And so I'm a fiscal conservative, but I also I care about the military. So that's our perspective.
Yeah, what's funny? When I first started working on Capitol Hill back during the contract days, the old motto was freshmen should kind of mind their own, learn to keep an eye on and not talk. You came out of the gate pretty strong. You're one of these 20 members that said, you know what, I'm not going to stay put for the status quo, and I'm going to fight for change. When you decided to finally come on board, what was it, you mentioned being in the room, what was it that changed your mind and said, we've gotten enough?
It was the embracing of the motion to vacate the chair that was, and it was stood for 200 years. It was put in place by Thomas Jefferson, and it allowed the conference, the majority conference, to hold the speaker accountable, which is actually good because right now you want decentralized power. We don't want to end up like the Senate with Mitch McConnell and, of course, their majority leader over there. But it was also to the commitment to actually take the budget seriously. You know, I am younger. I'm actually one of the youngest female members, at least on the Republican side. And when I see these massive spending bills and I see what's happening with inflation, and then I hear conversations with people that are literally having to choose between buying milk or, you know, buying eggs for their family, it's not okay. And so we do have to bring that change, and I hope to continue to do that.
So I got 30 seconds left. Let me ask you this. How was it that first week, you know, what you were hearing from your constituents, from what you were hearing from like the Washington establishment folks?
It was wild, but just remember, it was my constituents that sent me to Washington, and I only work for the residents of Pinellas County, not DC insiders. So we withstood, and I think that they're very happy that I was one of the 20 that stood up.
So did you, I mean, have you settled in? Is there any hard feelings?
No, in fact, I think actually people are excited. In the cloakroom, which is right off the House floor, people actually congratulated us and said that they were actually happy with some of the negotiations. And so we're a united conference. We get to now have fun with House Oversight and Judiciary.
Well, you know, it is going to be a fun little time. I'm watching these things actually happen. All of these committees, the Committee Against China, the oversight committees, Jim Jordan's work and things. So you guys fought hard. Congratulations, because you got a lot of things, not just for your district there in Florida, but for the rest of the country. So thank you for fighting hard.
Thank you very much.